Are you struggling financially? Are you living paycheck to paycheck and wondering why you stay broke? Today I'm talking about 5 things that you could be spending your money on that's keeping you broke, busted, and disgusted. Today I'm going to tell you what you need to stop spending your money on so that you can move forward in your finances. Let's dive into the conversation. All right, so it's a new year, 2025, we're in the second quarter, and you're wondering why you're still struggling financially, right? Today we're talking about why you're stuck financially. I'm going to give you some solutions to help you to move forward in your finances. So the first thing you may be doing is playing the lottery. That's right, playing the lotto. All right, so the lottery is basically considered as a tax, depending on your viewpoint, a tax on who? A tax on low-income people and people who are uninformed about what a lottery is for. So basically, when I did research online showing that a lottery is mostly funding people's education, right? States use the funding from the lottery to fund college education. It's an issue because if most people who play the lottery are low income, they're not seeing the benefits of the lottery, right? They're funding the lottery to fund people's education, but it's like they aren't reaping benefits. But because they don't know, then they'll keep on trying to win the big payoff so they can be switched away to wherever they want to be on vacation or out of the low income situation that they're in. But then when they get the money, they're going to go back to where they are because they don't know how to handle their finances, right? So research showing that most people who play the lottery are low income and also who are black folks, basically. So there's basically a study done by the National Institute of Health, and it said that black respondents spent significantly more per year on the lottery than respondents who are in higher income brackets, right? So people who are making money or higher income don't really play the lottery. They play the lottery, but not as much. Or maybe spending all your hard-earned money on the lotto, getting scratch offs, going to a convenience store, right? Trying to win big jackpot. Not good. Why? Because you're wasting money, and more likely not going to win the lottery. You're going to stay broke and then funding somebody else's education. Instead of funding your kids' education, you find somebody else's education. Not good. So it's a win for states and loss for you. So I recommend staying away from the lottery as far as possible. Now, if you are addicted to gambling, which the lottery is a gamble, I would recommend you get help to help you stop spending your hard-earned money that's keeping you broke. Oh, by the way, get a copy of my book, Broke, at thecodegrader.com. And actually, if you are struggling, this may be one reason why. If you want to make better decisions with your finances, stop overspending, and stop impulse spending, get you a free resource, the free money plan budget tracker at thecodegrader.com. This is how you're going to really transform your finances in 2025. The second reason I believe people are struggling financially is because they got credit card debt. All right, I know people say, build your credit, build your credit, build your credit. Use OPM or other people's money. They say, build your FICO score, and all this jargon that confuses people and say, build your credit, build your FICO score. All they're saying is go in debt and more debt and keep using debt and pay off your debt and use it wisely. I'm like, bruh, first and foremost, there's no good debt. Secondly, when you borrow money, you pay back more than you borrow because you pay back principal plus interest. In fact, according to the Federal Reserve of New York, it says that overall debt as of the fourth quarter of 2024 was $18.04 trillion, not million, not billion, but $1 trillion of debt, all right? And it increased by $93 billion, right? Now, of the 18 trillion, 1.1 trillion is credit card debt, and that increased by $45 billion. So, in other words, people are going into debt, thinking it's good debt, and they're funding their lifestyle. That's the lifestyle. The lifestyle is to use debt and look like you got all the things in life is happy and you're traveling and going all around this world and doing all these great things, but you are drowning in credit card debt. You're struggling, you're worried, you're stressed out, but you're on social media showing people you're doing all these things, nice house, nice car, vacationing, whatever, but you're really depressed, worried, stressed, anxious because you don't know if you're going to be able to pay those credit card bills. Some of you may even financed your Christmas or your holiday spending last year, right? And still paying on it. In fact, one source said that 34% of people have either delayed or avoided saving for an emergency fund, which is crazy because I teach that if you have a rainy day fund, you won't need to go in debt because people rely on credit cards as their emergency fund. I say use cash as your emergency fund and you'll stay away from credit card debt. But again, we're bombarded with build our credit, borrow money, use OPM, and build good debt. Let our good debts pay off, pay for things for us. And I'm like, no, stay out of debt and you'll have a better lifestyle. Also, one source said that 23% of people have either delayed or avoided investing. Well, investing is one way that you can build wealth. If you are out of debt and you're investing, stock market, a business, real estate, and those things go up in value over time, hopefully you'll become wealthy. But if you're pausing your investing because you have debt, that's keeping you from moving forward financially and building the financial future that you really want. So stay away from debt. My whole point to you is credit card debt is keeping you broke, it's keeping you from investing and also saving. So stay away from credit cards. I know you have to rewire your mind about debt, especially credit card debt, because it's so prevalent in our world today. I once used credit cards, I must say, and the last time I used a credit card was 2007, 8. If I can do it, you can too. It's called a decision. The third thing that's killing your pockets every month is car payments, right? People like to ride nice. It's tax season. Tax season just ended yesterday, the 15th, right, of April 2025. And I see people that'll get a new ride that have the paper tag on the car and they'll floss in or whatever you want to call it. And they use their refund, more likely, tax refund, to finance that car. Or they maybe even got a lease, talk about it later on. But the whole point is people put so much energy and effort into looking good, riding good, and it broke. Good to impress somebody, going in deeply into debt, car payments, credit card payments, and playing the lottery, and they're struggling financially. According to Experian, it said in third quarter of 2024, the average car payment was, for new cars, $737. And for used cars, average payment was $520. So people paying all the money for car payments. Say you got a used car and a new car, right? You're paying $1,200 in car payments on things that go down in value the moment you leave the lot. And if you driving a used car, the car has already gone down in value. It's already been beat up by appreciation, right? So people should put so much energy and effort into cars. Cars are one of the biggest expenses that people purchase, right? Why put all your money into this thing that's going to go down in value? You can't get the money out of it if you sell it because the value has gone down. It's plummeted more likely. So don't finance a new or used car, especially paying $737 per month. That's crazy. 80% of people finance the new cars. So that means that 80% of people are paying $737 per month for a car payment. For how long? 68 months, over 5 years basically, for a car payment, going down in value. I'm like, 68 months, right? It's a long time. And the math is, if I do 737 times 12 months, right? $8,000, right? Times 5 years. That car at value, you're paying $44,000 for a car. And the moment you leave off the lot, it's gonna go down in value, right? That means you can't get that car. You can't get paid $44,000 for that car if you try to resell it because the value is going down. All right. So why stay in debt? And more likely, when you get the car and you keep it for 5 years, it's gonna be worth like probably 30% of what you paid for, right? Can't get it back. And then you have driven a whole lot of miles, more likely, so you can't get what you paid for, right? So you're paying all these payments. Why not just pay cash for a car? Save it every month, save 37, say $8,000, get you a decent car, a used car, and then just go buy another car with cash. That's the solution to the problem. Don't go spend $700 on a car payment for 5 years, paying over $40,000 for a car that's going to go down in value, and you can't get your money back out of it. That's simple, y'all. Don't do it. And loaning money to families, man, like, all right. I used to be the bank for my family, meaning people used to borrow money from me until I had to say no. I'm not going to continue to enable you to borrow money from me. That money I worked hard for it, I gave it to you, and then I'm having to ask for it back, right? Actually, I've done this with several family members. Have asked me, they asked me in the past to borrow money. I would say yes. But when I had to realize that, that wasn't good. That's one reason why you shouldn't let people borrow money in your family. One, because it ruins a relationship, right? What if it's your parents? And the Bible, the Word of God says that the borrower is slave to the lender. That means your parents will become a slave and you are the master, right? So if you're going out to eat with your parents and they owe you money, you're having dinner with your slave, basically, because they owe you money in simple terms. Again, the borrower is slave to lender. So it can ruin your relationship with your parents because they owe you money. You'll be envious of them because if they borrow the money, they go out of town, for example, and then you're like, hold on, you going out of town with my money or you going out of town with money that you owe me? That something doesn't sit right with me. So then it's going to make you upset, but it's your fault because you let them borrow the money. But the whole point is you're going to get upset because they are spending your money or spending money that they owe you and act like it's fine. So it's going to ruin your relationship with your parents or your family member. You're going to be envious of it. And then what if you don't get paid back at all? Then when you come around the person, you're going to be upset because they didn't pay the money back, right? Knowing get well that they didn't have the money to pay you back because they asked you to borrow the money, right? They didn't have the money in the first place, so how are they going to pay it back? They used it for whatever they used it for, and they went on about their life. Then they may get mad at you because you asked for the money back when they owe you the money. It's crazy, but people are crazy though, right? So don't let people borrow money in your family members. And then also, you're going to enable the person. If you continue to let them borrow money, then you'll be enabling them to go get whatever they're doing. And maybe they may be alcoholic, they may be gambling, they may be playing a lottery. Don't know, but you're enabling that person. And you need to set boundaries and say no like an adult, like I did to my family members. I said, no, I'm not going to let you borrow money again. You can be mad, but it's my money. That's simple. If you like my boundaries, that's fine. But I'm not going to continue to let you borrow my money, and it could possibly ruin our relationship. 1, 2, I don't want to become envious of what you're doing with the money. 3, what if I don't get the money back? I'm setting boundaries so that you can no longer take advantage of me. I want to have a healthy relationship with you. And by doing so, I'm going to set boundaries. That's simple. And the last thing, keeping you broke, is leasing a car. I remember when I worked at the car wash years ago in high school, people would come in with new cars. I don't know, like, man, they would come in a new car every so often. And I wonder if they leased the car. I don't know, but maybe they were leasing the car. What does a lease mean for a car, right? It's basically you're renting a car. You're paying on that car a lease payment for a certain amount of time, 3 years, right? And it's like you have a car payment, but you don't own the car at the end of it. Crazy, but it's what people do. Look good or to just keep their cars new. I don't know. I was like, it's weird, but that's what people do with cars. Again, cars are one of our biggest investments, not even investment, our biggest purchases, I should say. And you're paying for the cost of capital, which is basically like the total price of the vehicle. You're gonna pay for depreciation, right? The car is gonna go down in value, and you're being charged on that. It depends on the kind of lease you have. You may get charged by the number of miles. You have a certain amount of miles you can drive the car during the lease period, right? Or you may be paying for the amount the dealer estimates, which is the residual value, which is the value that the dealer expects the car to be after you bring it back, right? So it depends on what kind of lease you have. But the whole point is, let's stick with one. If you are doing the lease that has the number of miles, right? So you have 50,000 miles to drive the car for 3 years. If you exceed the 50,000 miles, you'll pay more per mile basically for that. So, and also if you got to maintain the lease or maintain the vehicle or change and during the lease period, if you don't, it basically reduces the value of the vehicle, right? So you could possibly pay more, be penalized. The whole point is you're paying payments on the vehicle every month for 3 years, for example, and you're limited on the value that the miles you can drive the car. You have to keep up with the maintenance, so you're basically told what to do, how to handle the car. And at the end of your lease, what happens? You give the car back. You give the car back, right? And then if you don't have a car, what are you gonna do? Go back to getting a lease, right? Go get a car and go in debt. It's crazy. You're renting a car. It's like you rent a car to go out of town for a day or two, a week or whatever, and you give it back. That makes sense. But you're leasing a car for a lifetime, you're leasing it every time the lease ends, you go re-up on the lease. It's crazy. It's nonsense. Why not just use cash, save money during that period, get your new car, a new used car. Or if you want a new car, save up the money to buy it. Be patient in doing it. But don't get a lease on the car. It's crazy in my opinion because you are paying all this money to a dealership and you don't even own the car at the end of it. People do it. But I don't want you to do it because maybe it's keeping you broke. Like playing the lottery is keeping you broke. Loaning family members money is keeping you broke. Staying in credit card debt is keeping you broke. Leasing cars is really keeping you broke. All these things are probably keeping you broke and you don't even realize it. Well, today, I want you to realize it. Stop doing these things that are keeping you broke, stressed out, worried, anxious about your financial future. Make a decision today. I'm no longer going to spend my money on these things. You can do it. All it takes is a decision. Let's go make it happen.